Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, today we're going to take a look at the Divi blog module. Now, blogging is a huge thing online, as I'm sure everybody knows. A lot of people use WordPress, and if you're using the Divi theme, it's got a fantastic blog module that'll let you display your posts in a few different ways. So let's get started. I've got a new page here. I've enabled the visual builder. I've got a section. I'm going to insert a row. Inside that row, funnily enough, I'm going to put the blog module. Now don't forget guys, this is only going to work if you've got posts on your site, blog posts. If you have not got posts on your site, then this will not work. So I've got a site here, we've got plenty of blogs on there. And by default, as you can see, it loads them straight away. You can decide whether you want to show a lot or a few. Let's say 6. And not only can you show posts, but you can also show pages, media, projects and products. I've got products on this site, so in a moment I'll show you how you can display your products also using this blog module, which is great. So I chose to have 6 posts. You can include all categories, current category or whatever. So I'll go ahead and include all categories. Month and date format's absolutely fine. If we scroll down, there it is, November 8th 2019. You can change that if you want to. Show excerpt, that's absolutely fine for me. There's the little excerpt just below it there. And you can choose how many letters you want the excerpt to be in length. For this, you probably want longer ones, but for a sort of grid type one, you'd want shorter ones. At the moment, I haven't changed styles or anything. I'm just leaving it just like it is. Now here you can choose the elements to put on your site. So let's go in there. Show featured image. If I was going to have it in this style, I'd probably not have the featured image. It's just too big. If my images were more interesting or picturesque, perhaps I would. So I'd probably have something like this. It looks like a regular blog. And then below you can choose to show a read more button. Author, date, categories, comment count, excerpt, pagination. Well, pagination, we chose to show 6 here. So after the 6 you'll get pagination, which will give you older entries right there. And of course you may be thinking, well, this looks pretty much like the original. Yes, it does, but you can go into the design right here and style it how you would. For instance, the heading. And as with all Divi modules, if you hover over an element and it's got a little blue circle with a little paintbrush in it, you can click on there. That'll take you straight to the styles for that particular element, which is the H2, as you can see there. So let's make it a bit bolder. And let's make it match the colors of our site. I don't know what that pink color is right there. I've got a free Chrome color picker up here. Let's find it out. Okay, and let's make it that color. There we go. And of course you could do the same for your meta down below if you wanted to. Here's the meta text. I'll do the same thing. Like, you make it bigger, smaller, however you want to do it. And that's the sort of blog list type style, I suppose you'd call that. Now you can go down and you can give it borders and box shadows if you want to. Okay, well there's our list style one. If we're back in the design, if we go to the layout now in the design tab, let's have a look at the grid style one. And there it is. That's pretty good. But I think I'll bring back our featured image on this one. So let's go back to our content. We'll go to our elements. We want to show the featured image. And again, of course, it's up to you whether you show the author, the date, or the categories. Choose what you will there. Back to our design. You can have an overlay if you want over the image. Let's make it that pink color as well, I guess. Now you see when I hover, it's got that overlay over the image, but I like to be able to see something through it. So I'm going to drag the opacity down so we can see a bit of the image through it, like there. And there's a little icon there. Let's make that icon white. Now that's if you want to do that. If you don't want to use an overlay, you don't have to. We can use a hover effect on the actual image. If we go down further to the image, you can round the corners of your images if you want to, by giving it a value there. I'm happy to leave mine as is. As long as you've got the chain checked, it'll do all the corners at once for you. Usual thing with a border style. But if we scroll on down, we've got some filters here. So if you wanted to, you could create a hover effect with the filters. Like perhaps you could invert the image. That'll make the images all crazy colors right there. So this is common to all Divi modules. If you hover over the dark legending and icons appear, if you've got a little arrow, you can set a hover state and a desktop state. Desktop is when a mouse is not on it, and then when somebody puts their mouse over it, the hover state, you can change the setting for that. So when the mouse is on top of it, hover state, it'll be inverted. When they're on regular, it won't. Now the default time for that to actually take place is 300 milliseconds with Divi. If we go over to our advanced, down to transitions, there it is. I'm going to slow mine down a little bit, maybe a second. Obviously you put yours where you want to put it, and I'm going to use ease in, ease out. To play with the speed curves, they do slightly different things. This one works for me in most instances. Okay, back to the design. We've looked at the overlay, the image. Obviously you can change your text, alignment, left, right, center, however you want to do it. The text one itself is common, so it'll do all of the text. And you can do the title and that separately if you want to. And the body text right there. And you can also affect the read more text as well. And it's got the usual things: capitalize, change the font color, letter spacing, etc. If you want to go to town, like all Divi modules, they've got a CSS, custom CSS block over in the advanced here. If you wanted to do something with your button there, each module has different boxes you can use here, but most of them will have a box where you can affect the elements of the module you're using. So here's a read more button. For instance, you could give it a colored background. Okay, it's a bit sort of squished up round it, but let's give it a bit of padding. Let's give it 5 picks top and bottom and 15 picks left and right. There we go, that looks a bit more like a button. And let's throw it over to the right hand side. Again, this is just an example letting you know what you can do with your CSS boxes if you want to. So we'll say float right. There we go, that's fine. And then of course if you wanted to, you change that text back to white or whatever color you wanted, obviously. Read more text. There we go. Now going on further down the design, you can do what you want. You can add box shadow. That's the text shadow. We're in read more text there. Pagination text, as I mentioned, is that to get to the more posts. You can change that there. Sizing as well. If you don't want it to be the whole width of your container, you can squish it down like that. If you want to, you can align it in the middle or to the right. I'm happy with mine being the full available width. Spacing, again, this is just padding, and this is just going to squish it in from the outside. It won't do anything to the individual modules themselves. Same with the margin there. Border, we looked at that before. It's got a little border around there. I quite like that. If you wanted to add box shadow, with this one it actually adds it to the individual post, which is quite a nice touch when it's in grid shape like this. Of course you can change the colors and things for your shadow there. Filters, it's got the filters, but we're already using those, so I don't need to do anything there. Transform, don't want to transform, and I don't want to animate particularly. So let's go back in. We'll save this and exit the Visual Builder and see what we've got. There we go, and that's quite a nice looking little blog right there. Obviously you could have more to your page if you wanted to. Another thing you may want to do is decrease or increase the length of the gutters here between the elements and above and below them. You actually do that in the row itself. If I enable the Visual Builder again, let's go into our row, the green tab, blue for a section, green for a row, dark for a module. And if we go up to our design, to our sizing, we can use a custom gutter width. Like I say, the gutters are the spaces in between the elements there. If you put it down to 0, there'll be none. As you can see, they're touching and squished up against it. In some instances that looks great. I'm not sure I'd use it for this particular one. Obviously scoot it up to 2 and you've got less of a gap there. 3 is where we were, and you can add more of a gap if you want to. I think 2 was quite nice actually, so I shall leave it just like that. Okay, the other great thing about this blog module is that you can display other things. This site has got a shop on it with products, so you can actually display products and products description, and then when they click on it, it'll take them to the products. So let's do that quickly. What I'll do is I'll clone this module. So now we've got 2 lots. Here it is, and we'll go into the second one. And for this one, I'm going to change it from posts to products. And there's some of our products right there. That's our old blog. Here's our new blog. As you can see, it's completely different. Now there's a few things I'd probably turn off for this. Like I probably would not show the metadata here. I would show the category though. So let's do that quickly. I won't spend too much time on this. It's just a great feature that you can do if you have a WooCommerce store type. So let's not show the author. Don't want to show the date. Will show the categories. Don't want to show comments. Do want to show excerpt, and do want to show pagination. Let's take the number up as well that we can display here. Let's take this up to 12. I'm sure I've got 12 products on this site. And like I say, I'm just using the styles that we created in our little blog up here. I won't change anything there. And that's just a great little feature if you've got products. It's an alternative way. Of course, Divi's got the fantastic shop module, but this is just a nice alternative, and you could throw a few of these in different places. It doesn't have to be whole page like I've got here. You can have a quarter page with a few in there and a little article to the right. Just a great little option. So let's save our changes, save draft or publish page, and exit our Visual Builder. Okay, and I suppose we better make sure that these are going to actually work. So there's our little weird effect, our inversion that's taking about a second when we roll over it. Now when we click on it, I'm going to middle mouse click and open it in a new tab to make sure it's going to take us to the actual post. Yep, that's fine. There's the video and the blog. Great. Now if we roll down, let's look at our other one. These should take us to the product. And again, we've got that inverted effect going on those images there. I might have an overlay on that one, seeing as it's a product. And if you click on the image or on the button, it should take us to that actual product. So again, I'm going to middle mouse it and get it in a new tab. And there we are. Fantastic. So there's a couple of ways, or 3 little ways, you can use your Divi blog module. So I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful. If you have, please ring the bell, give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and WebDesignAndTechTips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.